back to work on the Maxim. I did some things kind of off camera, which I'll show you guys in a second, just because I didn't want to waste your time with, you know, certain aspects of it. But we did get new parts in. That is what was left of the wiring harness. After I got done with it, I didn't feel that that was really necessary anymore, because there's one, I'm not going to count them all, there's a handful of relays and we don't need them anymore. So things that are on the to-do list as of now, I have to finish the electronics tray. The shocks are on, but they're going to come back off. I have to cut the frame to weld the hoop in the taillight. I still need to strip the gas tank down and paint that up. I need to finish the wiring harness, which I was waiting on a couple last little things that actually showed up today, like a switch for the lights and start, stop, you know, shit like that. I don't know what else. Yeah, I'm having an idiot moment. But this is the tray I'm working on. Don't mind the shitty tack welds. My welder's losing its fucking mind for some reason. I may have to upgrade. But everything's gonna be mounted in here. This is just tacked in temporarily. I'm gonna knock it back out. This is stainless. But I want to clean it up and paint it, make it nice. I did get filters in, new shocks, knockoff KYBs, whopping $34 on eBay, which have actually had pretty decent reviews, so I'm excited to try them out. Frame hoop taillight, and I should have ordered the one that kicks up, but I didn't, so I'm gonna have to make it kick up myself. I'm gonna have to chop the frame, figure out, I don't have a battery, so I'm gonna have to figure out the dimensions of the battery and build, you know, maybe an additional little tray right here to hold that. Cheap fuse box, because the stock one uses glass fuses and it's old and all the wiring's super crusty. And then there's this mess. Got, you know, wires for the coils. But I did manage to achieve my goal of having this area have nothing in it. I want this to be just blank. I gotta cut these off. That guy. That guy. Cut off that guy and that guy. But better look at the electronics tray. Kind of cool. Not bad for some scrap material I had laying around. Hangs down a little bit, so it'll look cool, or it'll be covered up by seat pan, who knows. Bars are all stripped down. This is separated out of the harness because that's the start button. Another thing, headlight, and my favorite part, knockoff Ducati dash. So this was 20 some bucks on eBay. I'll leave a link to all this stuff in the description. A handful of stuff's from Amazon because gotta use that Prime membership. But links to everything will be, you know, down below. So if you guys want any of this stuff, everything from the filters, shocks, you know, everything will be down there. Even this cheap little on-off light switch. Because like I said, this bike is only gonna have headlight and tail light and dashboard. That's it. I don't need, you know, any of the other nonsense. So, you know, super simple, super easy, you know, less to go wrong, you know, especially when you're dealing with an older bike. You know, God only knows you know, what shape everything's in. So, you know, the previous owner had hacked into it and, you know, taped stuff up, and there was bare wires hanging around. And I really don't want this thing to be a fire hazard. So yeah, we're just redoing everything. So right now I'm going to finish up kind of mocking up where the electronics are going to lay. And then I can, you know, all the wires right now are super long, so that way I can kind of figure out where everything's going to live, and then I'll cut them to length so that way I don't have just, I hate when people wire something and they just jumble up a ball of wires and tape them together and call it good. That's not a, it's not a proper way to do it. It's not a professional way to do it. It's just shitty. So I mean, if you're gonna do it, take the time, do it right. I don't know how far we're gonna get in this video, so let's get started. Alright, so a little update. I stopped wiring because my brain likes to jump around to different shit. So I figured, you know, I'll get the seat laid out. Yeah. What that is the stock seat pan, and what I started with was I just cut like the passenger part off because I was like, oh, you know, this section, you know, it follows this perfect curve with the frame. You know, I'll just chop that off and I can use this to build my tail section. And then then that turned into, oh well, if I do this, I won't have to make a custom seat pan. Well, I don't want it to just look all like chopped up and hacked up. So I feel like by using the stock pan and just cutting it and having a seat, like just a seat pan, and then a tail section that pops on and off, and you know, I can put the battery in here, and you know, it'll be easy servicing. So I think that is the plan. Now what's going to happen is I'm going to sit and stare at this for 4 more hours and either change my mind for the 90th time or actually cut the stupid thing in half. So, I don't know. I'll let you guys know when I figure it out. Fuck it. We're cutting it. Worst case scenario, I buy a different one. So for right now, I'm cut it apart. gave up on the seat for a minute. I don't know if I like it or not. I can picture it in my head, and I'm about it. So we're just gonna go back to wiring. So for right now, that's as much as I can really do. Got these shortened up. This is going to run all the way back here because the battery is going to sit in a tray right here. So this is going to be, you know, right from the battery to the ignition, and then this hot lead is going to run like headlight, tail light, the dash, stuff like that. But I can't really, you know, tie this all up together and wrap it and everything because like I still have the headlight switch I gotta run. I still have to put the tail light in so that way I can run the rear brake light switch. Still gotta mount the dash, but I have to cut this much out, make little notches because I want it to sit right here, and I also would like to keep the key here just because it's nice and easy to get to. Plus it has the little lock dealio so you can lock the bars. So that's gonna need to slide around here and then tie in to the bolts for the key on the clamps. Yeah, and then I gotta run after I get the headlight put on, which I may stick with the light bar. I don't know, I may go to like a pod cube or something, but either way I have to run the lights for that because, you know, obviously one of these from the light switch is going to be, you know, a hot in and then a hot out, so I'll need to run a ground, you know, all the way back to, you know, one of these terminals. And I don't want to have a bunch of like different taped up sections of wire, so I'd rather just run all the wire and then tape it so that way everything's ran together, uniform, it'll look cleaner. As far as these wires go, they're gonna get, you know, probably nicely zip tied right to the frame right here. Another thing I gotta do is mount the starter solenoid, which I'm not exactly sure where I want that to live quite yet, but I figured it out. Alright, so that's about as far as I can get on the wiring, because without the tail section, because even though you guys see me cut that one up, I hate it, so I threw it in the garbage. I'm getting a different one. But I can't really finish the wiring out until I get the new tail, so that way I know exactly where I can cut the frame, which means that holds me up on welding in the tail light and hoop. So yeah, kind of had to stand still waiting on parts again. I know it took a little bit for this video to come out. I've been crazy busy doing you know, powder coating parts for customers. But anyways, one other thing I did do off camera, just because it's a very simple process, so I didn't feel like filming it, was I put the exhaust on and wrapped the header all up. So that's all mounted up. I cannot wait to hear how it sounds. It's going to sound amazing. But header's all wrapped up, put on. So one more thing done. Now, like I said, just waiting on parts, waiting on bars and grips, a few other odds and ends, and then we can kind of get everything mocked up and then take stuff back apart that's getting coated or painted or whatever. But that's going to do it for this one. As always, man, thank you guys so much for watching. You know, drop me a like, hit that subscribe button. Yeah, see you guys in the next one. Later.